well. If you happen to have any difficulties in seeing my screen or hearing me, please let us know. You have a questions box in GoToWebinar, so feel free to let us know if you have any problems. And if you have questions, you're more than welcome to do ask away. We will have a quick questions and answers session. And without further ado, we're going to start with the presentation. As I said, I'm Georgia. I'm today with Max, our Sales and Marketing Associate. And he will be helping us as well in the questions and answers session. We're more than glad to have you on board, and we hope you enjoy, and we hope, you learn a lot of new things. Let me give you just a really quick heads up of what we're going to do today. We're going to have a 45 minutes presentation. And as I had mentioned before, you can ask us questions via the GoToWebinar questions box. You will be able to get this deck, the recording of this webinar, and an industry overview tomorrow. And as you probably know, this is part of the Layar in Business webinar series, so you're more than welcome to join the future ones as well. So yeah, let's get started. This is actually our agenda. Max, is everything going well with the screen as well?
I can't see.
Okay. Hopefully, if yeah,
can see.
exactly.
It's not a problem, I guess.
Exactly. So if hopefully everything goes well with GoToWebinar today. Let me just quickly bounce back here to the presentation. Yeah, all good. Okay, so yes. Today we're going to have a really quick introduction on augmented reality and on Layar. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about Layar and advertising. I'm going to surprise you with a really nice idea in terms of how you can use augmented reality in advertising, show you a couple of examples, but also talk a little bit about Layar Creative Studio, which is our latest release out there in terms of services. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Layar as a product, how you can use it in your business, and then jump to a couple of your questions and answers. So yeah, if everything is said, let's just jump to it. So let's talk a little bit about augmented reality. So one of the first things I'd like to mention here is, contrary to popular beliefs, augmented reality is not really a new concept. It actually precedes the internet by a couple of years. And it all started basically with Ivan Sutherland in 1968. He was actually the first one to work with a heads-up display, basically showing drawings, wireframe drawings in real time. And then actually the concept of augmented reality was introduced to mass media through the movie The Terminator in 1984. I'm guessing some of you know it pretty well. And then it wasn't until actually 1992 that Tom Caudell and David Mizzle from Boeing actually coined the term augmented reality. And the way they actually used it was to optimize the production process and make it easy for engineers at Boeing to find their way through the wiring system of planes. So a pretty interesting application of augmented reality. But, this takes us back to 2009, and with the advent of smartphones that embedded a really good camera and a digital compass, Layar realized that there's a lot of potential in delivering augmented reality to anybody who actually owns a smartphone. And what you're probably thinking, okay, well, what does it actually do? What augmented reality does is giving you, as a smartphone user, an enhanced view of the real world through the lens of your smartphone, basically. So it's a lens to a different reality, so to say. What's really exciting about this, speaking of smartphones, is to see some of the trends right now in terms of smartphone usage. As you can see on the slides here, the number of mobile devices is expected to surpass the number of people on planet, literally. And I think it's safe to say that we're past the point where advertisers and publishers in general are simply contemplating mobile strategies. It's become such such a big part of digital strategy. And so, as you can see here in terms of mobile phone users, this huge projected growth of usage is basically our growth market, So augmented reality, in a way, literally rides the wave of smartphone growth. And that's a really exciting thing for us, right? And if you're not familiar with how augmented reality works, this is basically how it all goes. It starts with an attention-grabbing image that has a call to action to scan. And this call to action, I have to say, is not the trigger itself. It's simply for readers to kind of consciously see that the page contains augmented reality elements. The trigger itself is the page that is being augmented. So you hold the device over the page with the Layar app, and then you tap to scan. And what actually happens is that the image is analyzed, and its fingerprint is literally looked up in the cloud database. After it's matched, you actually get to see digital media downloaded and placed on top of the image. And it literally feels like you're seeing an extra layer of reality attached to the print content. So what I've shown you here is literally based on the image recognition technology. And what is really nice about it is that you don't need any special printing technology or any special codes. In fact, I would say it's even better than QR codes because you avoid ugly visuals, and I think that is a big plus in terms of using augmented reality in advertising. And you're also able to deliver rich media. Not to mention that you can also update content after you publish it, and ultimately deliver a wow effect to your readers or to your customers. So recent research by Juniper actually shows that augmented reality has a $1 billion market opportunity, and it literally is a new medium that redefines advertising in a way. Perhaps really good to look into. This research also shows the change in behavior with using smartphones and seeing people engage a little bit more with brands. It basically gives you some insights into what some customers do using their smartphones, what they see and what they actually scan. And these are all very popular subjects at the moment. I highly encourage you to take a look at this research, and you're going to find some more information in our white paper. But safe to say, bottom line is, the digital world is literally seeping into reality. And if we could put it into one phrase, it would be that the future of what we now call online is actually offline in the real world. So let's talk a little bit about Layar. So what are we talking about here is an app that has been downloaded more than 38 million times, and we like to think of it as the #1 mobile AR app over there in the market. We have a huge growth in the US, but of course also in Germany, Canada, Netherlands, since we're based here, and growing overall. Very exciting trends to see happening over there. We've been founded in 2009 and backed by Intel and Prime and Sunstone, and happy to say we have 30 people on board in Amsterdam, where you can find the headquarters, New York, and Toronto. So you have us in major or key markets out there. And without further ado, let's talk about Layar in advertising. I'm guessing this is the main focus here today, and I would say it all starts with interactive print. Layar in advertising is focused a lot on interactive print, and as you can see in the slides over there, there's one particular interesting report out there by Economist Intelligence Unit. It's called Agent of Change. Again, I highly encourage you to take a look at it. It basically says that 2 of the 10 biggest tech disruptors out there would be cheap smartphones and augmented reality, and that is something that's really encouraging for us in terms of strategy and, of course, in our business focus. We're really passionate about this, and we're really looking forward to seeing where this all goes to. And also, looking at the current trends, as you can see on the right-hand side, in terms of print to mobile activators, image recognition, which basically is the underlying technology at the core of interactive print, is the largest print to mobile activator in 2013. It's even higher than QR codes. So if anything, that should be quite encouraging for you to try it out and see how it actually works in advertising. But yeah, you know, as I was mentioning before, augmented reality and what Layar is trying to do literally is to marry print to digital. And we're trying to do that by bridging the gap between physical and digital content. And that, I think, translates really well into really good user experiences with advertising. And new possibility for you as an advertiser, not to mention the psychological effects that it actually has on your customers. So you will see higher engagement, but also, you know, unlocking new emotions in your customers, which is ultimately something you definitely want to see in their experience. So yeah, we highly believe that we can help you achieve that. And the natural question that actually comes to mind is, okay, this all sounds really interesting, so what are the, you know, the 4 main reasons why I would use Layar to do that? And basically what I would say in this case is that Layar allows you to amaze and engage your customers, so not only create an impression, but also take them on board, have them experience the brand in a different way, and also strengthen your brand, strengthen the you know, the top of the mind position, and also it enables you to measure your results. And I think that is pretty important for an advertiser and for any kind of publisher whatsoever to measure the results of an advertising campaign. So I think, that being said, in a digital age, what we've been talking about for the past 10 minutes, we believe that advertising is best served shaken, stirred, and augmented. And what I mean by this is a combination of mixing and matching different elements to actually deliver a really rich cross-media experience to your customers, actually. So what you see here is a very nice combination of things. I'm going to go through them one by one. So we're going to start with the spirit. And this is what we would like to call the extra content, right? The interactive print is the spirit of augmented reality, right? It's the technology that allows you to display digital content on top of print content. And what is really great about it, it's you know, that you are able to add extra content to your print, so you're not limited anymore to what you can present using print content. It's similar to adding extra ingredients to a cocktail. So that being said, the next step would be to actually shake it, shake all the elements together, all that extra content, and you know, shake up the traditional ad experience basically, and you know, engage your customers in a new level. And what you can do actually in terms of engaging your customers is literally enabling them to email you, to call you, to vote and show preference for a specific product. Or you know, engage in different types of games or any other type of digital engagement that you can think of. So yeah, it gives you a really nice opportunity to create a memorable experience with the brand. The glass, on the other hand, is the presentation, and we all know the presentation is half the work. Advertisers know it better than anybody else, and augmented reality in itself is a visual treat. It's highly reliant on providing a visually rich experience, and that's also important in a cocktail, right? I mean, if it's nicely presented and nicely given to you, it's a whole new experience. What is really interesting to note here, actually, is that consumers are 135% more likely to purchase if they experience a product or anything of that sense or service in AR, rather than simply see an image of it. And it's an interesting research. Again, you're going to have some of these resources available to you. But you know, it's very interesting to see how the perception of the presentation actually makes a huge difference into the behavior of consumers. going forward with this, measuring is really important. Proportions are crucial for a good cocktail, and similar to that, you know, a good campaign, a good advertising campaign needs to be measured. You need to be able to measure the impact of it, and you can do that with the help of Layar statistics. It's really great and on different levels actually, because it gives you insights into how many people scan the print content, the advertisement, how many times they do it, when do they do it. You're going to be able to see it in a timeline, but also, you know, just basically see it on different types of content, so you know exactly what your customers like most, like to engage with the most. And going forward with the ICE, you know, a successful ad campaign means increased revenue, you know, and just as any cocktail isn't the same without a little bit of ICE, it's the same with mobile shopping or shopping in general to an advertising campaign. What is really great then is that Layar can actually facilitate that for you, and you know, you have the opportunity to create a new point of sale. What that means is that customers can buy items directly in augmented reality. So you can give them an interactive experience, a cross-media experience, but also help them get further in the shopping process, basically. And last but not least, the lemon and lime, the zinc to the cocktail, which we believe is all about social media. And garnishing your campaign with social media extras can really help you add personality and character to the experience itself. You can let your customers engage with the brand at a deeper level. You can find out their opinion. They can save the information for later, so you can see their variety of buttons that you can use to do that, you know, like buttons, follow, pin images on Pinterest, and all sorts of different options. I'm going to go through them in a minute, but just to get you thinking of that opportunity, social media is a really great way to to engage with customers. So we highly encourage you to do so. And the secret ingredient here for branded content is actually content marketing. And what really is great about this is that augmented reality can help you create an enriched storytelling experience. Not only are you able to put all of these amazing ingredients together, extra content, social media features, you know, giving a really nice, rich media experience, but it also allows you to tell a story in a different way, not only via print. What's even better is that it allows you to create a dialogue with your customers. So it transforms that experience from, you know, a monologue to a two-way communication, to a dialogue, basically. So if I could boil it down to a couple of thoughts, would be that Layar can help you offer a rich experience and keep your customers engaged with content at a different level than what they're used to. And you know, let's look a little bit at a couple of examples here, actually. And what you see here is magazine page where you're able to see a video playing directly in augmented reality. Not only that, but also the opportunity to win a weekend off and also to share the image on Facebook. So it gives you so many opportunities as a reader that it literally makes it for a, you know, memorable reading experience. And let's go a bit further with a Fila advertisement. I'm sorry you can't see the video directly. You're going to actually get the deck, so you're going to be able to scan this example. But as you can see here, readers or customers, better said, are able to scan the advertisement, see a video of the new collection of Fila, and also engage with the brand on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So yeah, indeed, it gives you a different dimension to print content, and it doesn't really you know, it doesn't really sidetrack a customer. It literally gives them access directly to the resources that you're sending them to. So very exciting to see that. Here's another example, Crystal Light, which is obviously a pretty popular beverage, especially in the United States. This is a very simple concept that they have tackled here. What you see on the left-hand side in print is a black and white page. And at first it looks a little bit boring, you know, but as soon as you scan it, you see it come to life and you see it come to color as well. So it makes a much stronger visual impact than you would normally have with a fully colored image, you know, that you would normally have in a magazine or on a poster, for that matter. Here's another example also from Crystal Light, and this is a little bit more on the engagement side that I would like to emphasize. So what you see on the left-hand side is the simple print page, and as soon as you scan it, you're able to see a HTML menu where you see show me the flavors. So you can literally tap it, and then you have a pop-up menu showing the different flavors of Crystal Light. And again, you know, it shows the product in a new way, and it makes it for a much more memorable user experience. You can see more information about Crystal Light. You can maybe, you know, imagine you would background, or maybe you show a really nice video. You know, anything that would get your readers or your customers engaged, use it, and make sure that you use all the digital assets to create a really nice cross-media experience. Here's another example, and this is actually more on the product display side. What you see here is an advertisement for Omega watches, and what's really nice about it is that it allows you to swipe back and forth between different models of Omega watches. I think this is really great, especially when you're, you know, you're limited by print dates, so to say, and you know, it allows you to show more items from the same collection without cluttering the print content. Going forward with this, here's another simple buying behavior kind of example. So as soon as you, this is actually from Men's Health US, as soon as you scan the image, you are able to buy the really nice suit that Jimmy Fallon is wearing over there. So again, it facilitates the buying process, and it takes readers in a, you know, in a much more simple buying experience. Here's another example actually from Chio, pretty popular brand of chips. Again, it simply shows a layer of augmented reality, obviously, on top, and it allows the readers or the customers, and takes them to a different website, gets them into a really nice contest, you know, actually play a small game, and it engages them at a different level with the brand. Here's another example of an automotive ad, with Mercedes-Benz here in the Netherlands. Again, an element of surprise. It basically reveals the new model of E-Class Mercedes-Benz, and it just simply creates a sense of anticipation and a sense of reward as soon as you scan the content and you get to see the new model out there. And maybe a concept that you can keep in mind for advertising campaigns. Here's another one that's really interesting, and this is actually for Jaguar, allowing anybody who scans the image to take a 360-degree look at the new Jaguar F-Type. What you see actually when you're scanning the image, and feel free to do so as soon as you get the deck, it's going to be available tomorrow, you're going to be able to see the new model basically spinning in augmented reality, and you know, getting to actually see the model in augmented reality creates a really engaging experience for you as a customer. And let's go a little bit through the product, right? Because I think we're going to run out of time if we keep going with examples. However, you can find more examples on our Pinterest boards and also on our inspiration page at layar.com. So I encourage you to take a look over there. We have more advertising examples, and obviously examples from different industries as well. But let me just give you a really quick run through the Layar app. It's a free app, so there's no need to make your customers or your readers buy it. It's available on iOS and Android, also for Google Glass. It works on smartphones and tablets, and it enables you to show 2D and 3D content. It embeds two different technologies, the one I mentioned before, interactive print, but also geolocation. I invite you for the next webinar so you can find out more information on how that actually works. But it's basically displaying digital content based on the GPS location of the user. And it also reads QR codes. So worst case scenario, you can use Layar for that as well. Yeah, what is really great about it is that literally you can extend content with pop-out. So as soon as you scan a page or an advertisement, the user is able to pop out the image and move away the smartphone. So you don't really have to sit there hanging with the smartphone in the air to see the whole video or to see the rest of the augments. And you can also save content. So that's really great. If you want to save a link for later after scanning something, this works perfectly. There's two ways to go about creating interactive print. One of them is using the Layar Creator. It's a do-it-yourself approach. However, what we noticed is that it happens a lot that you know, many of the Layar Creator users or, you know, any publishers, advertisers need a little bit of help and inspiration on how to actually create interactive print that works, that gives results. And this is why we've launched the Layar Creative Studio, which is literally a full-service agency. What we aim to do here is create augmented reality solutions that impress your customers. It's a no-hassle, ready-to-get-going solution. You basically are able to give us your concept or, you know, talk to us here at Layar Creative Studio, and we will be building the campaign on your behalf. What is really great about it is that you get to all the insights on our best practices applied and our expertise into it. And yeah, you get to interact with your audience in a different way, right? All the added benefits of interactive print served at your door without too much hassle, basically. We are going to literally take it from concept to execution together with you, and we will be designing the augmented reality elements. We will build the campaign for you, launch it for you, and then take a look at the results, so evaluate it. If you have more questions or if you want some more details on that, please visit layar.com/studio and contact us there. You have more information and more details on how you can get this going for you. And the do-it-yourself approach, the Layar Creator, is a very simple tool. It's a browser tool that is based on a drag and drop movement, so to say, so content creation using a drag and drop behavior. So you can literally enhance a page in less than 1 minute and create interactive campaigns. It's a very easy to use tool. However, we highly encourage you to take a very close look at our best practices and, you know, make the most out of the insights we're offering you and to how to make this effective and how to, you know, how to actually yield as many results as possible, especially for you as an advertiser. These are the drag and drop buttons that I mentioned before. So you have the basic, the media, and the social ones, a couple of advanced ones. You have website buttons. You can enable readers to call, to buy, or to email, send, you know, tweets, follow someone on Facebook, sorry, on Twitter, listen to a playlist, maybe listen to a SoundCloud playlist, see videos play directly in augmented reality, and, you know, swipe between product images, click, you know, whatever you can imagine, we can do it. Also 3D content for that matter, small games and HTML things, vote for different options, whatever you can imagine, and that we can do it with this, and we're more than glad to facilitate that for you. And again, what I mentioned before, the best part of it is that you have access to statistics, and it enables you to see whether your readers or your customers have engaged with your content, and if they found the ads to be engaging enough, if they came back to scan, and how many times they've done it, how long they've done it, so on and so forth. We believe it's pretty exciting for you to find out. And while we're talking about this, in terms of pricing, you can actually try it out for free. The content will be live for 60 days, so you can create a campaign without paying for it. However, it'll display a small ad at the bottom of the page, or at the bottom of the screen, rather. If you would like to purchase pages, and what I mean by pages is literally the image that you will be adding digital content on top of, so it can be a magazine page, an advertisement, whatever it is. The price per page is $60, but you can also save with bundles. Then the content will be live for 1 year. You will have no ads and access to statistics. And I think it's pretty valuable for you, especially if you're working on a campaign, an advertising campaign. You can also opt for a premium account, and that will be the highest level. This is where we come in and give you free training. We offer you our support as well, and the content is live for the length of your subscription. Again, you have advanced features. You are able to add custom buttons, collaborate, especially if you're working with a bigger team, and yeah, as I mentioned before, you have dedicated online support and training. We highly encourage you to take full advantage of these. More than glad to have you on board. If you're thinking, okay, hold on a second, it sounds really great, but what kind of content should I be looking at over here? If you're thinking of augmenting one of your ads, just think of a combination of 2 or 3 of these things. Make it relevant, obviously, for the audience. Try to make it exclusive, so offering behind-the-scenes information or anything in that sense that they cannot see on print or anywhere else. Make it informative, of course, but ultimately just offer an entertaining user experience, right? You need to have your customers engaged with the content, and as much as possible, try to present the information or exude that kind of feeling in your customers in an entertaining way. How do you actually activate them? And this is another important aspect here that we need to keep in mind. It's really crucial, I have to say, for the success of your campaign. Usage is directly tied to visual activation. There's no way your customers will know that a page or an advertisement hides digital content unless you tell them to. So add calls to action and let them know that they can scan the page with Layar. Otherwise, I can guarantee you it will not be scanned. There's no way that people will be guessing that. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it is a very, very crucial aspect of creating interactive print advertisements. But again, if you have more questions, we can definitely help you. You can check out the Layar Help Center. You have more questions over there. And again, you can find more information about best practices, tips on how to create campaigns, tutorials, even video tutorials, and more information on how to get started or how to do a bit more advanced things. Just to boil it down, to give you a couple of things to keep in mind about Layar and how we can help you in this is literally the fact that we're the largest player in the augmented reality market. As I mentioned before, $38 million worldwide, 10 million only in the US, and more than 75,000, actually 85,000, I think we can even say that, marketeers and publishers that are active on the Layar Creator. It's a very easy to use tool and a very easy to use app as well. And what's really great is that you have a fixed price. So no matter the size of print or usage, you still have the same price per image that you augment. And now We can actually jump to the questions and answers part. We're almost there. Thank you for tuning in so far. Please ask questions away. We're going to try to answer them as much as possible in the next few minutes. We still have around 10 minutes left. So yeah, Max, let's see. What are some of
one question of Stephen, who's asking, is this based on a template, or is it possible to integrate the AR content more organically?
Yeah.
So that it appears more integrated with the design.
Okay, I think I understand what you mean. So, Stephen, it's not necessarily based on a template. We are, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Come back to us, right back to us if I haven't answered your question completely. But indeed, you will have standard buttons that you can drag and drop on top of the image, but you can also customize it if that's what you mean. So you can actually make it look like it's integrated with the design. So you have different options. You can use standard buttons, but we highly encourage you actually to integrate it with the design, make it look like it's an added layer of reality on top of print.
Yes. Andreas is asking, is it possible to connect digital content, for example, movies with different language versions of one page?
Yeah.
And how would you do that?
Okay, really nice question, Andreas. Thank you for asking that. What is really great about creating interactive print ads is that with the Layar Creator, is that you are able to do that for different countries. And that means that you can restrict the access for a specific page that you add digital content on top of for specific countries. And this is how I would actually go about showing content with different languages. Basically, you would create one campaign per each country that you would like to target. So you can, let's say for Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium, you create a similar campaign. You can do that and select that in the campaign options and customize the content based on the specific country.
Thanks. Adrian is asking if it can also be used to do outdoor advertising.
Absolutely, Adrian. Yeah, it really helps to do that. And I think it really helps. It's actually even better. It's fantastic to do that. What you have to be mindful of, I would say, is the position that the user is in. So if it's, let's say, billboard advertising and it's at a very big distance, or if it's affected in any way by direct light and maybe it looks different in different light conditions, I would stay away from it. But let's say if it's window advertisement or anything that is at the eye level and allows users to scan it completely to fit it in the smartphone viewer, then definitely try it out. Yeah.
Martin is asking, how long does your full service take from concept to launch?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It depends on the case, Martin, actually. It depends. But, it can take anywhere from a week to 4 weeks, or it depends a lot on what kind of digital content you would like on top, how many images we need to augment for you, and yeah, how complex the content will be. Yeah.
Sheila is asking, can Layar be used on other print pieces besides advertisements? For example, brochures, technical bulletins?
Absolutely, Sheila. It's really great that you asked that. Yes, you can use it on any print content. Seeing the app is relying on image recognition, it really helps that the page or whatever it is, brochure page, magazine, advertisement, whatever it is, that it actually has unique visual features. So if you're going to have a magazine page that is full of small-sized text, then it's not going to recognize it very easily. But if it's visually rich, then it shouldn't be any problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alejandro is asking, do you do object recognition?
Yeah, that's a good one, Alejandro. Not yet, I have to say, not
Oh,
yet. It will be very exciting, but not yet. And also video recognition, the same thing, not yet. It takes significant time and research and development there. Definitely something that's interesting to keep in mind, but so far, not yet.
No, we also don't do audio recognition.
Exactly, exactly.
Um,
Let's see, a couple more questions. Yeah.
Stephen is asking if we do release our APIs, if they wanted to use their in-house developers instead of our Creative Studio.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. So we do have a Layar API. You're more than welcome to use it. You can find more information about the Layar API at layar.com, and we can get back to you, Max. Maybe we can do that with a bit more information. But definitely, it's not. You don't have to necessarily go through the Layar Creative Studio to create interactive print content. Yes.
John is asking, with 3D content, are there still images or can they be moving 3D objects?
I would say at this moment, John, I would advise you to focus on still images, just because 3D moving objects load pretty, it takes quite a long time to load. I have a couple of more information pieces for you over there, so we'll get back to you on that. But as a quick question, sorry, as a quick answer, I would say no. Focus on 3D still images. Yeah. There's some more, and I see a couple more questions about 3D content. Yes, it is supported, guys. You can definitely create 3D content using Layar and display 3D objects. We have a whole range of documentation for that for you, and more tutorials as well on how to do that. So we'll get back to you on that with more information.
Alejandro is asking again, can you do geo-positioning tracking?
Yes, Alejandro. So I think what you're referring to is basically the geolocation aspect, the geolocation technology that is embedded in the Layar app. And yes, indeed, you can display digital content based on the GPS location of a user. It's a really exciting field, obviously very popular, especially due to Google Glass. I encourage you to check out our website in terms of geolocation and check out a little bit more information on our Google Glass app as well. But yes, indeed, it is possible. We can give you a bit more information on that right after the webinar.
John is asking again, is there a preferred format for video, YouTube, Vimeo, or anything else?
That's a very good question, John, and this has something to do, strongly to do with best practices. You can use YouTube, you can use Vimeo as well. What we highly encourage you is to use videos that play directly in augmented reality. And the way to do that is to provide an MP4 link to your video. That can be either Vimeo or it can be directly from your server. Of course, you can also use a YouTube link, but what that will actually, it won't really allow you to display videos that play directly in augmented reality. And what we've seen in terms of statistics and in terms of user engagement is that videos that that basically start playing as soon as you scan an advertisement create a much stronger visual impact, user experience, and ultimately a better, a higher user engagement. So we highly encourage you to use those. So yeah, MP4 links is the way to go, I would say, yeah.
Steven's asking if we are making a more in-depth webinar on geolocation.
Yes, absolutely. So we have actually a webinar dedicated to that. You can find out more information on that on the Layar events page. Again, we'll come back to you with a couple more links where you can find that. We highly encourage all of you actually to join some of our further webinars focused on best practices, on geolocation, and different products basically.
Chaim is asking if it is possible to measure the location where the pages are scanned.
So what you will see in the statistic, Jaime, is actually, or Jamie, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I guess it was fine.
Yeah. Yes, what you will be able to see in the statistics is a breakdown of where your users are coming from. We can show you which countries they come from, but we cannot show you the exact location, the city or the area. That would kind of go against the privacy, some privacy laws over there. But what we actually check out is the language of the phone and also the SIM of the phone to basically localize it and know what country it comes from. So at least you have that insight from us. Yeah. Let's take 2 more questions and then I think we're good to go. We're going to come back to some of your questions via email. Let's check a couple more.
Alejandro was asking again where he can see examples of Google Analytics per layer.
Yeah, Alejandro, Google Analytics is a very good question, by the way. For Google Analytics, we have our own set of statistics, so the layer statistics that are displayed in the layer creator. Google Analytics would be basically on your side, so on your website or whatever else you're using. You can actually use a marker or some sort of piece of code that would show you what traffic actually comes from the Layer app. We're going to come back to you on that with more details, but just to give you a really quick answer, you can't see Google Analytics in the Layer creator. However, you can create some correlation between our statistics and Google Analytics.
Patricia is asking if you can tell her a little bit about the security aspects. For example, if someone else is using your cover and uploading it.
Very good question, Patricia, and that's very important, especially for advertisers, for brands out there. What actually happens is we enable you to send us a message, a takedown notice, basically. What we do is actually take a look at the campaign, see who else has been augmenting the same print content or the same advertisement, and whoever holds the copyright for the specific print will obviously get the priority, and we will delete the other content. But it doesn't happen so often, I have to say. We haven't seen many cases of that. And again, we have a takedown notice that you can use, and we'll take a look at the campaign as soon as we get it. Yeah.
Right.
Let's take a last question.
Last question.
Yeah. I can see a question here. Yeah, I can see a question here from Andrian. Can you put live content on it, live streaming? I've seen a couple of campaigns where that has been tried out. Not that I'm aware of, not directly in augmented reality, but you can definitely link to a live stream, so link it to a website that does live streaming. I have seen a couple of examples where users have tried to actually embed it in augmented reality. You can probably do that using the HTML widget. However, we cannot, I would say we cannot guarantee that it's going to be the best user experience in augmented reality. Something you can test, obviously, but yeah, for now, I think, yeah, it's on the test phase, so to say. So I think we're almost done. We're a little bit over time, but hey, thank you so much for joining us today. As I mentioned before, you can get this deck and more, the recording of today and industry overview for this specific webinar. Thank you for joining us today. This is Georgia and Max from Layar headquarters. We're looking forward to having you at our next webinar, and hope that you have a nice afternoon. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining. we'll hear from you soon. And we'll get back to your questions as well. We have quite a few. And yeah, have a great afternoon, everybody. Goodbye.